license plate today. You got the dollies out here using a flat side of this one. Using some pins to drive with, some brass ones, same as, or chrome plate I should say, hardened steel. Some other little shapes. Just different types of dollies. Body hammers. My little scraper there, scraping the rest of these decals off of this. This bottom edge was really bad. It's real wavy. We got it pretty decent now. Good enough now that we're going to sand everything off. It's a lot of work goes into these. People don't realize how much time goes into them. This plate was pretty good. Only some wrinkles in here on the bottom and a ding right there where that bare metal is showing. But not bent up too bad. A lot of them are bent really bad, especially around the bolt areas. Around these lips where they've had frames put around them or anything. So we're going to go ahead now, we're going to sand this whole finish off, get this one ready to go. Let's bring it back when we make more progress. Alright, I've showed this little trick before with the tracing paper. Put it on, I take the edge of the pencil, lay it down, go around the edge, mark down where our plate is. Here's the inner rise, the reveal on the plate. I drew around the bottom edge where these letters are embossed. That'll be my reference, and then I trace through these Ohio letters. I don't know if the owner's going to want these put back on or not. It's a custom tag anyway, between the color of the car, which is red with white letters, so we'll see how we come out on this. But I wanted to have this template in case I needed it. What we got here now, take it off of there. There you go. Light is kind of reflecting on that. There you go. There's my two holes the plate would mount. So now we'll have a template. I can pounce that and I'll go into that, what that means later on. I have a template I can use. Put this back on if need be. Alright, here's how you make your templates. Alright, we had, I said, this spot right here. There was a divot down where it had been dented. Chipped the paint off, so we filled that. I mixed up some icing to put on. We were a little wavy across here, so I went ahead and put a little wipe across here. Sand way up here on the top. In the corners, set some little divots, you know, here and here. I marked them all with a pencil first so I would know. And then the little trick is, I worked in the fiberglass industry. We did a thing we call wet sanding. What that meant was when you laid out fiberglass parts in the mold, you always had flashing around the edges that hung over, and that could be a lot of extra grinding work if you didn't get that stuff while it was still pliable. So we would wait for it to set just enough, it was soft enough, we could still cut it with a utility knife, we trim it. We call that wet sanding. So that's kind of what I did here. I let this just set just enough that I won't just wipe it off, but it's still soft enough that I can sand it. No, excuse me. I take some old sandpaper, like this is an old disc to come off a DA, and I keep these back just for this kind of thing. You can see how it comes up on here. But when you run this over it, when it's just set like that, you can take this down very quickly. Versus if you let it set up so it's fully cured and hard. Doesn't work all the time, but in some situations it can save you a lot of time by doing that. So there's a little trick of the day. Alright, we've got this all ready for prime now. Everything's all sanded out real nice, all around all the edges and everything. We had used some different pieces of steel here, like this. Hammer and dolly these edges down. They were crooked. Got all this where they had to be. Got the back all cleaned up now. These were never painted on the back, they just had this coating on them. But there was rust spots that come on. It is an old plate. So we cleaned all that up. We'll just paint the back of it. So we're all ready to go on prime on this. Okay, bring you back as we make more progress. Alright, here's our license plate, all in prime now. Come out well. Show you a little trick I always do here. Those little brads. Drive those little brads right in. I paint the backside first. Flip it over, put it back on the brads. Won't damage your paint that way. If it does, it's very minor. See, you spot it all from them. Old painter's trick. Alright, we'll get ready, we'll block this all in, sand this in real nice, and get it ready for paint.